everyone, Linda here, the scrapbooking photographer. Welcome to my channel and thanks for stopping by. Today we're playing along with a fun hop that's running through August, which is called Clue, and it's run by Ginger Bush from Ginger's Corner, and she has prepared these sheets for us to choose the components for our page. But first up, we have to go through the process of playing Clue and choose our murder suspect with our first roll, which is Miss Scarlet. The second roll tells us what murder weapon Miss Scarlet is using, and it's the lead pipe, number 2. And our third one is the crime scene location, number 2, in the billiard room. So we've got Miss Scarlet in the billiard room with the lead pipe. So this page will tell us how that equates across to components for our page. And number 1, red enamel dots. Lead pipe is here, so let's see. Number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, winter page. And in the billiard room, which is here, we have got number 6, use a green embellishment. So we've got red enamel dots and green embellishments on a winter page. If only Christmas was in winter here, we'd be all right. Maybe midwinter Christmas. I'll have to have a look, see what I can come up with for that, and I will be back soon. So I am back with our bits and pieces to start off with this Clue challenge. Now, I went away to find some winter photos, and these ones that I found, I'm trying to get out of an old sticky album, and thankfully they came out all right. It's from a trip we did in 1988 down to the South Island, and this is when we were trying to get to Milford Sound and the road was closed. So I thought I'd put these onto a page. Now, it's interesting to look back at photos that are that old, nearly 40 years old, because they are the only record we have. And when I look at them now with what I've learnt in the last 40 years, I'm just really pleased that we've learnt what we've learnt. But these are what we've got, and that's what we need to use, because that's how we remember the day. And my husband and I actually had a good afternoon looking through some old photos from this time. So it doesn't matter how good or bad they're the memories. So they need to be documented. So they are winter photos, so I can make a winter page. And I'm also going to combine it with our Tuesday inspiration, which is a team of 4 of us. There's Jen from Kaezmum, and it's her sketch we're using today. There's Mel from Mel W Scrapping, and there's Hollie from Ivy Cole Creations. So this is the sketch that Jen has given us this month. And I thought, rather than have circle photos, mine are going to be square, because they're the old, very old sort that aren't that big anyway. So if I made them into the circle, we'd have nothing left. And I thought I would use this old piece of Close to My Heart paper with the snowflakes on it as a background. Then bring in a little bit of Stampin' Up! Night of Navy. And then use this other piece of Close to My Heart paper for the piece in the middle. And this has kind of already got that splashy effect that Jen's got on her sketch. And it actually brings in a little bit of red because, and green, which is really good, because the other 2 criteria for the Clue series is to have red enamel dots and a green embellishment. So let's set up the page first. And I'll start by taking these branding strips off and getting everything to fit the way we want it to. We'll start with that piece, and I've got the mixed media piece is going to fit in there. It's square, which is cool. And this Night of Navy, it is the 2-tone, so I could go lighter, which might actually be a better idea given that the back paper is light. And to get it right, I'm going to just put some sticky down on here. And then position this so that we get it kind of centered. without, you know, measuring or anything, because we don't want to be too silly about it. And then I'll go through and cut these pieces off. Not necessarily a colour I would put together, but it kind of works, so that's all right. And then that one goes on there. It's not quite the same as Jen's, but the whole point is that we get some inspiration from her sketch, not copy it exactly. And we can just then put this in relatively square like that. Now the photos will need to be matted, and I think we'll kind of follow Jen's design and sort of go like that, not even or anything. We'll just mix it up a little bit, but we do need to put a little bit of a backing behind them. And this is a crumb cake, and it does sort of bring out some of the colours in the splash underneath as well. So I think we're going to use the darker side of crumb cake and just mount the photos in that. Right, so we can kind of put those in like that, and I think we can probably stick those down. So this layout can also go in the layout library this month in the album for road trip. We took a big road trip doing this from Christchurch all the way around the South Island, and this is the part where we came to Milford, and we tried to get through to the Sound by road, but it was closed because the weather was awful, and these cheeky birds, the Kia, would come and peck at our camper van. Quite cute birds, but they can do a lot of damage. Right, so we'll bring a title in here. Now we've got a bit of a tag underneath, so we're going to trim a piece of that off. Can come in from the side there, and then we'll bring in a little bit of the blue. And we'll have some white letters in here to say Milford. Actually, maybe we need it to say The Road to Milford, which is quite a long title. But I think if we do that in white letters, and we can use this alphabet here, because it cuts out a whole alphabet at once. So for the little miniature machine, I've cut my white willow at 3 inches wide, which fits nicely onto the mats and also accommodates the alphabet quite well. Nice and snug on there. And we'll just pop that through the spinner. I've had to turn the light on in here today. It's got all dark and dingy outside, so I'm sorry if you're getting any reflections. I think white's a good colour for this because it kind of mentions the snow. Right, so I'll just pop out the letters that I need, and then I'll come and show you what I've come up with rather than you sit there watching me do this. So I've stuck that title down now, and I really like the white on there, and I think it needs to come under this bit here, sort of to be centered. So I want to put another one of these over here, which means I need to move these up a little bit. So this is what happens, things evolve. Just need another piece of this the same size, and we will put this at this end, this one at that end, and this one in the middle. I'll trim that off at the end of the words. And I've brought that darker side of the double-sided Night of Navy in for that one because I want to use that darker colour for some snowflakes that are going to just a flicker around the top. See if we can get this even down at the bottom here. Does that look about right? We'll soon find out. And then we'll stick this down. Middle and centered. Now in the sketch we've got some journaling up here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do some journaling just down in this little piece here. So I've got the title in there and I've done a little bit of journaling. Now I have cut out some snowflakes with a punch and I've used the solid core A4 Night of Navy cardstock, and I'm just going to sprinkle these 5 snowflakes around the page. Actually I might do perhaps a couple more. That way we can have one at each end of the title, which blends in quite well, and just pop another one in there. Now I've also got this green embellishment which was sent to me by a lady in an embellishment swap group. Unfortunately there's no name on the back, so I can't quite remember who it was from. Now we're in the South Island on this trip and I've just come up with a brilliant idea for a front page, which you'll need to watch another video coming up in September to see. But I'm going to trim the North Island off because this holiday is all about the South Island, and I'm sure I'll be able to use the North Island at some point in the future. And I'm just going to pop that in here. We are on a bit of an angle, so we'll keep the words sort of straight. And that can be my green embellishment. I'm not quite sure what colour it is, but I can match it fairly well with the Stampin' Up! Soft Sea Foam. And I'll stick these snowflakes down. I've done a little bit of journaling under the photos. It's a long time ago, so I can't remember too many details, and it's before the advent of scrapbooking in my life or even journaling. And now these days when I go on holiday, I keep notes every day so I can remember what's going on when I come to do the scrapbook pages. And for my red dots, I've got one little red heart left, and I might just pop that up here. And then I've got some quite bright red dots here, and I thought I would just pop one where Milford is. So we need to make sure we get the right place on the South Island. And if we look at a map of the South Island, we've got Milford Sound over here, and it's a fairly big red enamel dot as opposed to the size of the map. So if we pop it there, we're kind of about right. Might put a couple of these other red dots up here to balance things a little bit. And we'll take that heart off. And we'll just pop it in the middle of that. Right, so there we are. Going back to our original clue series, we've got our red enamel dots and a green embellishment on a winter page. And we've also used the sketch from Jen from Tuesday's Inspiration. So that's the inspiration for today. We haven't stuck entirely to the sketch. We've manoeuvred it a little bit, but that's what you do with a sketch. Just take the inspiration and make it work for your photos. So if you've enjoyed watching this come together, then thank you for watching through to the end. If it's enough for you to subscribe, that would be awesome, so that the subscriptions keep coming in and we know that what we're doing is worth doing. Thank you very much for watching, and happy crafting.